Hello everybody, welcome to day 3 of the quarantine. Before we get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button and click the bell notification next to it to turn on your notifications, because I'm not going to be sending out email alerts that we're doing these workouts going forwards. So just make sure you hit those buttons and we'll be good to go. I want to say before we get started that I'm really glad with the work you guys have all been doing. I've been hearing really good things about you guys getting after it, and I think that just as much as actually doing the work to make your body strong is hearing about you doing the work. It's really great for me, and I think it's really great for your teammates. It really builds a feeling of team and camaraderie and community, and that's something that's really important these days because we do have this isolation. You guys can't be in the same place, so I think it's just great for a sense of community if you guys know that you're doing the same work and you guys are still continuing to hold each other accountable, even though we can't all be in the same place getting after it. So with that in mind, what I would like to ask you guys to do is when you're doing these workouts, take a little bit of video, post it in your stories on Instagram, tag ZioFIT, tag Gators Swim Club, so that we can repost you guys, because we want to continue to have a strong team presence, even though we're faced with these same challenges. Everybody's having to deal with it. And I just really want to make sure we stay strong together as a team. So anyways, let's get into it. We're going to start as usual with your general warm-up, and then just right from there, we're going to get into the first circuit. So the first circuit, we're going to use stretch cords, we're going to use kettlebells. What we're going to do first, 5 rounds of this, you got your bent bicep curls. All right, nice, controlled. I'm going to hit 20 of these. So after you hit 20 of these, then naturally, you're going to flip it around. You're going to work your hyper tricks. Keep those elbows tucked in tight, drive down, then the hyper extension. Just like that, 20 reps, push yourselves, then release the bands. After that, you're gonna go to the kettlebell, you're gonna move down onto the ground. Now, if you're using the kettlebell, I just naturally said kettlebell because I'm gonna use the kettlebell, but you don't have to use a kettlebell. You guys are used to using the med ball for backstroke rows. So if you have a med ball, you're more comfortable using that, that's the appropriate weight, fine. But if you wanna use the kettlebell for these backstroke rows, I'm going to show you a few little details, how to pick it up, how to be safe. Make sure you have somebody there with you. If it's your first time, I don't want you dropping the weight, hurting your shoulder. So the way I'm going to pick this weight up to assure that I'm safe, I'm going to pick this up with my left arm. So I'm going to put my left side on the ground and grab the bottom of the weight. I'm not going to lift the weight up with that arm. I'm going to grab from the top of the weight with my other arm. I'm going to drag it towards me. Then I'm going to roll it on top of me. I'm going to push and pull it up. So that way I'm making sure that I'm never opening up and exposing my shoulder to any particular weakness that's gonna hurt me. From here, going to the backstroke rolls, smooth, controlled, and you're gonna do 10 of these backstroke rolls. After you do 10, bring the weight back down the same way, drop it onto your chest, roll to the side, and then switch to the other side. Last thing in this circuit, I'm gonna stand, I'm gonna grab either the med ball or that kettlebell, and I'm gonna finish with 20 hammers. So this is either a kettlebell hammer or a med ball hammer, rotating the shoulders relative to the hip, bringing the weight all the way down to the hip, swinging it around behind the head, taking it to the opposite hip. Again, I'm gonna do 20 of these as well. So now we're gonna get into the main work. I'm gonna start with the kettlebell. I've got 3 moves of the kettlebell, 2 moves of TRX, 1 move with the med ball, and then there's going to be one more thing at the end. Spoiler alert, it's about plantar flexion. While we're not being able to be in the water and we're doing a lot of stuff on the land, it's important to maintain that ankle flexibility so that your kick isn't absolute garbage when you get back to the water. So here we go, starting with kettlebell swings. With the swing, important thing to remember, keep your posture up, keep your eyes forward. It's about timing and power. So connect the weight to the hips, and make sure that when you snap the hips, that you're exhaling forcefully. There's a reason why I'm doing this and making it so awkward. You guys are all at home working out by yourself. There's no reason for you to be embarrassed about how loud you're breathing. So after you hit 20, now it's down into kettlebell infinity. Keep your posture up. Again, hips low, shift your waist side to side, 20 passes, and then from there, you're gonna go into close press with flutter. Keep the core tight, keep the abs engaged, and press the low back against the ground. Keep that flutter kick nice and tight, short, also low to the ground. 20 reps here as well. set the weight aside. Now you're gonna move to TRX. We're gonna go 10 now, palm up row. So remember, shoulders down, chin up, keep the core tight like you're planking, pull all the way up to the ribs. 10 reps here as well. Once you finish your 10, you may need to adjust the bands a little bit. Drop them down, because next we got dolphin soup. So you got the feet in the strap, plantar flexed, and you want to remember arm position here, race, start, recovery. So I'm engaged through the core, again, the spine is on the ground. Contact with the elbow, contact with the wrist, pulling the shoulders back, opening up the chest, and then I'm gonna drive down and press the hips up. When I release, just touch the hips to the ground, come back up. You never wanna set all your weight on the ground. You wanna keep the pressure through the shoulders, elbows, wrists, and the bottom of the feet. That's where you're gonna be connected here. We're working that posterior chain to get you off the blocks, right? After that, flip it over, grab the med ball. Now we've got asymmetrical push-ups, 2 variations here. You can go from the knees if you need to. Otherwise, you're gonna go from the feet. From the knees, it's exactly the same form. Just right here, getting down, getting the depth. You don't wanna get the hips up. You don't wanna let the hips drop. Same thing, if you're going from your feet, make sure that you can maintain your range of motion and posture. If you can't get the depth, then go from the knees. If you find yourself dropping your hips, then go from the knees. Just make sure that you're getting the full range so you can get the most out of the move. Hello everybody, so here we go. Last thing here, as promised, we're gonna work a little bit of unorthodox plantar flexion. So I have this dip bar, and when you guys are doing this, if you don't have a bar or anything like that, this is actually pretty easy to do from the edge of a table. So the tricep dip, it's a move that everybody knows. I've kind of fallen out of love with the tricep dip. For a population like swimmers, overhead athletes, it can put a lot of strain in the shoulder capsule, and that tends to do more damage than good you get from the triceps. So what I've taken is, I've taken a move for the ankles that's difficult, and I've combined it with the tricep dip to make a move that just is more appropriate for swimmers and is gonna help work on multiple things at one time. So the way that I would do this, I would grab the dip bar, and I'm gonna go onto the tops of my feet. This is that plantar flexion. This is that flexibility that you need to be a really strong flutter or dolphin kicker. From here, I'm gonna lower myself down to about a 90-degree flex at the knees, and then I'm gonna drive up. I'm gonna put as much pressure on my ankles as feels comfortable, and the rest of it I'm gonna take off using the arms. So I'm not putting too much strain in the shoulder, and I'm not putting too much strain in the ankle. So when I'm doing these, I'm gonna go for 20 reps here as well. And you can do these from the floor without having to use a dip bar. And then if I was going from a table, I would be planted more like this, but it would essentially be the same move, right? So you don't want to lift too much of your body weight with your upper body. You want to take more of it on your ankles, use your quads to move, and really get a good dynamic flex through the ankle so that you can come back from this still being a strong kicker, or maybe even being a stronger kicker.